أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وأفضل الصلوات وأتم التسليم على سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا أبي القاسم محمد
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. The Holy Prophet ﷺ said in his khutbah in introducing the holy month of Ramadan on the last Friday of Sha'ban, inviting everyone to realize the significance of this holy month. He said that we are invited to the banquet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then he carries on in saying, after saying, وَهُوَ شَهْرٌ دُعِيتُمْ فِيهِ إِلَى ضِيَافَةِ اللَّهِ, he says, وَجَعَلْتُمْ فِيهِ مِنْ أَهْلِ الْكَرَامَةِ. Along with this, the Holy Prophet ﷺ, after saying وَجَعَلْتُمْ فِيهِ مِنْ أَهْلِ كَرَامَةِ اللَّهِ, he says أَنفَاسُكُمْ فِيهِ تَسْبِيحٌ نَوْمُكُمْ فِيهِ عِبَادَةٌ عَمَلُكُمْ فِيهِ مَقْبُولٌ وَدُعَاءُكُمْ فِيهِ مُسْتَجَابٌ. No need for me to translate any of this because we're all Arabs here, and except for one or two maybe. But very quickly, if we were to just have a look at this quick sentence that I shared with you, we can see, besides the significance of what it is that we try as much as we can to gain during this holy month of Ramadan, another very important aspect of this ritual of fasting is that we also find out that there are many other dimensions to our acts of worship, in knowing the significance of a ritual, in it being something that is done in the sense of congregation, in the form of jama'ah, as a group. We all know that it's possible for us to sit down at home, especially nowadays with the internet. We can listen to the dua on ourselves, we can listen to a lecture all on ourselves. So besides the spiritual benefits of the month of Ramadan, there are many other social factors that generate strengthening of a community. And this is why it is of utmost importance for us to reiterate as much as we can anytime we have the importance of socializing with our Muslim brothers and sisters, especially when we are given such an opportunity like the month of Ramadan. And that's why frequenting to your local Islamic center, to Quran circles, if anyone goes to, or anything else, will indeed improve our understanding of having that ummah, or that small local Muslim community that we need to form and strengthen in its establishment. For the next 5 or 6 nights, inshallah, I will be sharing with you a very important topic. Of course, as difficult as it may be, I'm going to try as much as I can to stay away from the technical side of it and stick with the practical side of the theme of my discussion, which is going to be Ma'arifatul Nafs. As you know, when it comes to the topic of Ma'arifatul Nafs, or knowledge of the self, or if we want to say it in a more common usage, self-knowledge, we can see that there are many dimensions to this discussion. We can take it in a philosophical way and speak about it from a sense of perception. We can take it from a mystical way and go delve into the concepts of inner knowledge from a Irfani perspective, or we can stick solely to the verses of the Holy Quran and the traditions of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam and try to gather some kind of practical lesson in these couple of nights that we are sharing until Layal al-Qadr, in trying to at least generate some kind of positive improvement in these short nights that we have, at least in preparing ourselves for the holy month, for the holy nights of Al-Qadr. When it comes to our map of life, or our map of existence, knowing that we're human beings, knowing that this puzzled life that we live in isn't a difficult life, isn't an easy life, it's a very difficult life. It's a life full of question marks. It's a life from a young age we pose many queries to our parents, to our elders, trying to find out what it is that we need to understand in this big map of life. In order for us to join the pieces of this puzzle, in posing these questions, like for example the most primary question that every single individual has asked one time in his or her life is, where am I from? What is my origin? This question might not necessarily mean you asking who are your parents, because alhamdulillah, most of us who come from religious and Islamic background know who our parents are, alhamdulillah. But when we ask the question, where are we from, we're talking about what is the origin of the human being. Where does this lineage of mankind end up to? Especially nowadays, in the last few centuries, where the radical view of the origin of mankind is very much inclined towards being atheistic and heading towards the theory of evolution and believing that our origin is all from apes. And for someone to believe in creationism, to believe in that the human being came from someone who was Adam, and not from the evolvement or the evolving of another creature or another species, this view is very much shunned upon. Of course, as you know, not only is it shunned upon, it is also in many circles illegal to even speak about, especially in schools. So the question that we're asking is, where did we embark? We're talking about a map of existence. Where did we embark? What was our starting points? Where did we come from? Min ayn. Now, on this map, right, you know how there's a big arrow that it says, you are here. Where are we? Fi ayn. And then, what is our point of destination? Where are we going to disembark? We embarked somewhere. Where are we going to disembark? Ila ayn. These three questions that are intrinsic within the nature of every human being, right, are very necessary for us to try and solve in our own ways. Now, knowing the virtue of knowledge, knowing how important it is for us to pursue a life of ilm and talabul ilm, it is also of utmost importance for us to comprehend what kind of understanding do we have of this knowledge. Because with knowledge or especially when it comes to these three questions that we're asking, knowledge itself, you might not be able to satisfy your eager attentiveness through a theoretical knowledge of what these questions pose, right? And that's why there's a difference in coming now to define or give a definition of what is this theme, this topic that all of our ulama or even Western scholars talk about knowledge of the self. What is it that this means, this term means? We're knowing, especially, we're knowing that in this journey that I'm taking on this map, trying to join the puzzles together, trying to get to my destination, the only ultimate happiness and gratification and satisfaction that I will receive is when I disembark, when I get off my ship, when I get off my plane. Until then, I'm still going to be bewildered and confused, right? So my happiness is to reach my kamal, my goal, my ultimate point of perfection. This can only be done if I have awareness of what it is that I am doing, where it is that I came from, where it is that I am, and where will I be heading, right? So that house of perfection, or that city of kamal that I will be getting off, that I will be disembarking on, that will be my point of destination, that is the place that will give me all the answers to my question. But if I do not, at least from this very moment that I come to realize that there is a purpose in life, that I am on a map and I don't know where I am on this particular map, if I don't make that important, swift decision of altering my life and heading towards this perfect destination, I will still be lost. I won't be able to find the treasure. And it's through all these examples, it's very obvious that I've seen a lot of pirate movies, you know. With speaking about this and the importance of this, even though if we go back to Western scholars that speak about this, all of this has now changed in our modern westernized world. We can see that there's a lot more focus given on aspects of the world, or al-alam, of the world, more than there is on aspects on you, the individual. Our concern, and we can see this, we can realize this, if we just look at ourselves and the community that we live in, the society that we live in, the world that we live in, and we can see that when focusing on the contemporary world, we can see that there is more attention directed towards our interest in the world more than there is in our interest towards myself. Even in our own family circles, even in our own little gatherings that we have, more people would prefer to speak about issues of politics and global affairs than they would be interested in speaking about things related to themselves, right? Trying to share with others something that they were able to overcome, right? To say, for example, Alhamdulillah, today I was able to combat